Alright, so I'll be teaching you everything that you need to know when it comes to actually building an aesthetic personal brand online. And if you have a monkey brain, then just fucking click off. I don't want you here. But if you don't have a monkey brain and you can actually watch a 7 minute video through the end without any editing or any special effects and anything like that, then I applaud you. I congratulate you. Thank you. So let's just get straight to the point. So, how to build an aesthetic personal brand, which is a full free training. So, essentially everything from scaling, launching, and building an aesthetic personal brand. Because you don't need to be the most knowledgeable person in the room, or essentially the person who's giving your audience the value and the stuff that you're actually wanting to post. But you actually need to make them feel something, or something that actually gets them to actually trust you. Because once they trust you, they can actually buy any one of your stuff. So I'll be teaching you how to actually build real deep connection with your audience without solely relying on giving them value alone. Because in 2026 or 2025 and the years above that, we're shifting into a completely new trust-based economy where attention is the new standard and game. So if you still don't have a personal brand online, then you're going to get crushed and demolished by your damn competitors who actually have personal brands. Because in 2020 to 2024, it was all about value, expertise, and essentially how much you could educate your creator. But now, in 2026, the game is now about choosing who to buy from. Because people latch onto people, not products. It's choosing who is the right person that can actually get me the results and transformation. That's what your viewers and your audience and your ideal audience profile is probably thinking right now. So they care about a personal brand. When you care more for a personal brand than anyone else, people see the quality increase that you have compared to your competitors, and that's something that they want to buy into. And none of this can happen if you don't have a core brand message, or essentially the soul of your personal brand, because your personal brand is a mirror of who you are or the person you are and the frequency that you emit and radiate. If you're somebody who jacks off all the time, of course your personal brand will emit and radiate that energy. If you're somebody who's autistic and retarded, your personal brand will also radiate that energy. So if you want to create a core brand message, use this resonance message formula. So essentially, who, why, transformation, and frequency. So in covering the who part, who are you for, or who are you trying to serve, and who are you trying to attract. So your IAP, or your, which stands for ideal audience profile. So it's just not something broad like coaches, creators, or agency owners, but something specific like overwhelmed educators who hate how masculine their content feels, yada yada yada. Next is the why. So what do they deeply feel or desire? So what does your IAP actually want? So what is something that they deeply feel or desire that they haven't been able or haven't had the ability to put into words yet? Because so your brand message should say what they're thinking before they even realize it themselves. Next is the transformation part. So, what change do they experience through following your content and offer? The internal and external changes, because your content will only get them through a few steps, while your offer gets them through the entire steps. If they want real results, they need to go through your offer, but your content is meant to nurture them. Your content is meant to make them trust you through your aesthetic personal brands. And finally, the frequency. So, what tone, emotional signature, and creative energy do you actually radiate from your brand? So, it's like soft authority, calm clarity, or warm depth. It's not just about how you speak, but how it feels to watch your content. So, a core resonance prop would be something like this: I help who feel why experience transformation through frequency driven content and offer. So, an example would be I help burnt out creators reconnect to their creativity and launch aligned offers without forcing content that doesn't feel like them. So, something like that. And another example would be I help overthinking coaches build a brand that actually feels like them, content, visuals, and offers that vibe and convert. And I have an IAP framework over here that you can actually use, because this just goes way beyond the demographics and actually gets into the IAP for aesthetic personal brands. So the IAP is a mixture of your energy of your audience, the frustration of your audience, the desire of your audience, and the limiting pattern. So an example would be the burnt out educator. So their energy would be they're smart, systemized, but they're extremely drained because they're burnt out. Their frustration is that they have knowledge but feel robotic when they're creating content. So their desire and what they want to actually achieve is to build a brand that expresses who they are, not just what they know. So their limiting pattern is that they think emotion or aesthetics are just fluff but secretly craves it. And once you've nailed down your core brand message, it's now time to actually implement the Resonance content engine, or essentially the content engine that's just not limited to strategy, but it's the soul, moving your audience from emotion to identification and then to action. So essentially, a felt brand ecosystem that revolves around your brand message. So creating content around your brand message. So the emotive content map has three things, which is the documentation, the embodiment, and then the insight. So documentation is essentially just relating with the viewer and being somebody who's sharing their process, sharing their journey, and essentially just this is what I'm doing right now, and this is how I'm figuring out. So examples would be here. Raw, I realized writing an online coaching business is simple. He's showing that it's just simple. He's showing his mind. Next is a video from this guy over here, which my business makes 100K profit, and I'm shutting it down. So it's just sharing his journey or what he's doing right now. And next part is the embodiment or the aspirational layer. So essentially, telling people that you are the message, being a leader, and essentially making yourself more magnetic, making people want to actually follow you. So building a personal brand is more about faith and strategy, or even about this. And finally, the insight layer, which is the depth layer. This is where you're giving value to your audience and you're essentially just dropping valuable advice. So, for example, Jay Hiet, breaking beliefs is the most important thing in your online coaching business. Or even this guy, hit 7 figures when I escaped survival mode. Here's how. They're teaching something, they're giving their own insights. A platform specific strategy would be distributing your frequency across different platforms and different customer acquisition channels without actually diluting the core message or your core brand message. So repurposing would be TikTok, which is for the Gen Z or the younger reach. The YouTube Shorts would be for discovery. IG captions, which would be turned into threads, and so on and so forth. So everything needs to orbit your core brand message, or essentially what you're trying to preach and where you're trying to get your viewers from, or where you're taking your viewers from and helping them hit a goal. So instead of trying to teach 5 random things, you express one powerful message in 100 nuanced ways. So if your message is like trying to build a brand that feels like you document how you do that, you embody how that looks in real life, and you share insights on how they can feel it too. Damn, that was tough. And finally is the resonance mindset matrix, or essentially the matrix, or essentially shifting your mindset around aesthetics. So here, just read all of this. You can pause if you want to. It doesn't matter. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. I hope you have a blessed day. Praise God and thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.